I'm also informed that 4 detainees who allegedly participated in the assault on Andy Selmore have been identified through CCTV footage, and they have been transferred to other prisons for their own security. I'm further informed that the CID team led by Assistant Superintendent of Police Cindy Yan has already started an inquiry. So far, 15 statements from prison officers, prison's health officers, and several detainees have already been recorded. Strict instructions have been given to the police that this inquiry be completed in the shortest delay possible, and the file will then be referred to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for necessary action. Madam Speaker, what has happened at the prison is simply revolting. What is equally unacceptable is that this incident took place at the same prison where serious disturbances took place a few months ago on the 17th of July 2025. I present my sincere condolences to the family of the victim, and I wish to give them the assurance that we shall do all that is possible to bring to justice all those responsible for the death of Andy Selmore. In view of the very disturbing circumstances surrounding the death of Andy Selmore, I'm setting up a board of inquiry under Section 3(1)A of the Public Inquiries Act to inquire into the case. The board of inquiry will be presided by former judge Mr. Paul Lam Shanlin, who has been consulted and who shall be appointed to act alone on such terms and conditions as will be decided in Section 8(1) and 2 of Public Inquiries Act. I will make a further statement to the House as soon as reasonably practicable as regard to the terms of reference of the Board of Inquiry in line with Section 6.1, 6.2 and 6.3 of the Public Inquiries Act.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Your second statement? Yes,
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I would like to make a statement on the salary compensation 2026. It will be recalled that at the meeting of the Tripartite Technical Committee held under the chairmanship of Honourable Minister of Labour and Industrial Relations on the 26th of November 2025, Statistics Mauritius informed that the inflation rate for the year 2025 is estimated at 3.7%. Yesterday, the Tripartite Committee meeting on salary compensation was held under my chairmanship to consider the proposals from workers and employers' representatives and propose the quantum of salary compensation to be paid as from the 1st of January 2026. Representative of employees proposed a monthly salary compensation ranging from 855 rupees to 1,792 rupees across the board. On the other hand, Business Mauritius proposed that a salary compensation of 3.7% be paid only to employees earning a monthly basic salary of up to 18,000 rupees. Madam Speaker, in view of the current fiscal situation and to restore the purchasing power of employees, Government has decided to award a monthly salary compensation of 635 rupees, which is equivalent to 3.7% of the national minimum wage of 17,110 rupees to employees drawing a monthly basic salary of up to 50,000 rupees. The 50,000 rupees threshold is consistent with last year's policy decision for salary compensation and payment of the 14th month bonus. Some 409,400 employees will benefit from the salary compensation, of which 89,100 is in the public sector and 320,300 in the private sector. 88% of employees in the economy will therefore benefit from the salary compensation. The annual cost of the salary compensation is estimated at 3.38 billion rupees, of which 740 million will be for the public sector and 2.64 billion rupees for the private sector. Madam Speaker, despite the tight fiscal situation, Government is making an exceptional effort in favor of our senior citizens and the most vulnerable groups of our society. Government has also decided to grant an increase of 3.7% to all beneficiaries of basic pensions as from the 1st of January 2026. These include beneficiaries of basic retirement pension, basic widow's pension, basic invalidity pension, and orphan pension. Furthermore, government is extending the increase to all eligible beneficiaries of income support, that is, those having reached 60 years but not eligible for the BRP. These measures will cover more than 350,000 beneficiaries and will cost 2.4 billion rupees annually. Madam Speaker, in line with our policy focused on compassion and inclusiveness, we are making today this effort despite the very difficult economic and fiscal context and our commitment on fiscal consolidation. I also wish to inform the House, Madam Speaker, that I intend to make a statement on the Pay Research Bureau report 2026 next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Minister.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I wish to make a statement in light of my previous replies on the situation at Shelter Cap l'Espoir and the Child Daycare Center at Bijtombo. Madam Speaker, at the time I took office in November 2024, the situation at the shelter was deeply disturbing and upsetting. Some staff had been taking advantage of their position of authority with clear impunity. For instance, food meant for children was being taken and carried away. Age-appropriate meals were not served to these children. The children were made to believe that cameras were installed to watch their doings and whereabouts, and consequently, they were incited to damage same. Madam Speaker, following the absconding of minors from the shelter on 1st June 2025, government was informed on the immediate closure of shelter L'Oiseau du Paradis and the setting up of an internal inquiry which led to the suspension of certain staff of the NCC, the National Children's Council. Meanwhile, renovation works were initiated. Training programs were provided to enhance caregivers' skills working at the shelter by officers of my ministry as well as resource persons from an NGO. The shelter was reopened on 5th December 2025 with new programs and activities designed for children. Likewise, the situation at the Child Daycare Center at Bijtombo was also disturbing, as already highlighted in my reply to the PQ at the last sitting of the National Assembly on 9th December 2025. Madam Speaker, my ministry has therefore embarked on a transformative journey to overhaul the service delivery for children in need of care and protection, as well as the provision of early childhood services, respectively, for Cap l'Espoir and the Child Daycare Center of Bijtombo. Based on the deficiencies noted at the Child Daycare Center, immediate corrective measures were taken. The officer in charge was replaced by the Assistant Child Program Officer of the NCC. The new acting officer in charge was designated to reinforce operational supervision and restore compliance pending the enlistment of a duly registered manager. Furthermore, an upskilling session was provided by officers of my ministry to the caregivers working at the daycare center from 24th October to 3rd November 2025. In addition, they were also provided a half day on the job training at a nearby child daycare in Bijtombo called Éveil, oui, nous capables. Madam Speaker, some serious allegations were made on Tuesday, 9th December 2025 by an honourable member who indicated that evidence would be tabled at the National Assembly. Following these allegations, an internal inquiry has been initiated by the ministry. As soon as the documentary evidence is tabled, Appropriate disciplinary or legal actions will be taken according to law. Such allegations, if proved, cannot be taken lightly. With regard to qualifications and experience, the Child Daycare Center Regulations 2022 do not require a manager to hold specific child care qualifications. As for child caregivers, they should hold a basic qualification in child care or at least possess 3 years' experience in the field of child care services. Under the regulations, due diligence is mandatory for all staff. Managers and caregivers must submit certificates of character and medical certificates before registration and subsequently every 2 years. I wish to reassure the House that my ministry is ensuring that the provisions of the regulations are being strictly complied with. Madam Speaker, the National Children's Council is meant to be the key consultative and coordinating national body on activities and issues relating to children. As from May 2025, a new NCC board was set up with a new chairperson. The NCC is now on the right track with regard to its true mission. However, with regard to the shelter, we had to entrust the management to the NCC, for which a government decision was obtained. And my ministry will endeavour to outsource the management of the shelter. Madam Speaker, as a caring government, we remain fully committed towards creating an environment conducive to the well-being and development of our children. Moreover, as a new initiative, a steering committee comprising officers of my ministry, representatives of the NCC, 2 representatives of caregivers, and 2 representatives of the children would be set up as a monitoring mechanism for the effective running of shelters. Madam Speaker, actions have been taken by my ministry to turn things around, yet much is to be done. A situation that has deteriorated over the last 10 years cannot be changed overnight, but we will leave no stone unturned in our struggle for a better protection and development of children entrusted to us. Madam Speaker, the doors of my ministry are open and will always remain open to welcome all those willing to contribute positively and meaningfully in the best interest of the children of our Republic. I thank you.
Thank you.
Public Bill, second reading.
Yes, Honourable Second Member for Quartier Militaire Nuka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This bill is fundamental, for it aims to change our road culture. Our current road culture is dangerous and deadly with tragic consequences. A responsible government has the duty to save lives. This bill does precisely this. It is about fostering a more responsible driving culture. In 2016, the removal of the penalty point system demonstrated demagogy at the expense of the people's well-being and safety. Then, our streets were flooded with cars. Our bus services were made inadequate and irregular. All the while, more roads were built. These factors, along with the neoliberal dismantling of our social infrastructure, our health sector, our education sector, entailed an explosion of social ills and violence, including a dangerous, deadly road culture. On the streets, anger is everywhere when we are compelled to experience austerity imposed by socio-economic crisis. As a result, the road becomes one of the spaces where the pent-up anger erupts, explodes, and destroys. Madam Speaker, road rage is indeed too common on our streets. How often do we come across drivers who have become machines, their humanity erased, their transformation into raging monsters complete? On our roads, we witness aggressive behavior on a daily basis. Tirades of insults, physical battering, vicious attacks, bouts of insanity. We have all experienced the terror of being a victim of a perpetrator of road rage. Fear grips our mind, and our heart skips a beat. We know not what they can do. Where does this rage stem from? A capitalist system, a neoliberal system that compels people to live in dire austerity, to live in precarity, to live in constant anxiety and fear and anger. At those who profit from our sweat and blood by giving us insecure jobs, heightened cost of living, and dire social inequality. Capitalism destroys humanity. It transforms the driver into a raging machine. Exhausted, tired after long hours of work in places where employee abuse is rife, the driver loses it on the road and in the domestic sphere. A neoliberal world destroys social welfare, emphasizes competitive individualism and wealth accumulation at the expense of others. It dehumanizes the self. Madam Speaker, may I refer you to the evocative short animation film by Steve Cutts. You can watch it later on YouTube. We both know that art can awaken the mind. Cutts depicts humanity during late-stage capitalism as thousands of rats caught in a race for cash. On the roads, these rats are entrapped in infuriating traffic jams as they battle to reach the deadly workplace. Well, one rat too many and aggression rages. One car too many at peak hours, aggression rages. When it rains, chaos reigns on the streets. As research has shown, crowded roads worsen rage. Research has also demonstrated that road rage is mostly perpetrated by young males in their early 30s. Madam Speaker, road rage is therefore a gender-based issue. Toxic masculinity leads to accidents as much as alcohol, fatigue, speed, and drugs. Men aged between 21 and 50 are the main victims and perpetrators of road accidents in Mauritius. Right now, when we have all been discussing gender-based violence, we need to be sensitive as to how men are victims of toxic masculinity. At illegal rallies held across the island, young men compete to win at dangerous driving. Regrettably, cars still symbolize masculinity and virility. Dangerous driving signals the macho stereotype that breaking speed limits channel male driving abilities. The reintroduction of the penalty point system, therefore, is about tackling deep-rooted gender-based misconceptions that lead to violence and tragedy on our streets. This bill reflects how this government is taking responsible action. It seeks to protect life endangered by capitalism that reinforces gender-based violence, reinforces patriarchy. From 2010 to 2020, the number of road accidents spiraled by 41%. Recent data shows but a slight drop in the early quarter of 2025. The issue remains critical. As we are all strongly aware, road accidents destroy lives. They carry a heavy emotional and physical toll on survivors. The social and psychological impacts of post-traumatic stress disorder following road accidents are severe, complex, and difficult to treat. This trauma may be carried across generations. Moreover, PTSD requires steady and long-term access to psychological care for a patient to heal. By making drivers responsible and avoiding accidents, we are ensuring that there are less victims to life-altering PTSD. This is care. Madam Speaker, in 2025, Tandrayan Raghubar, a researcher, noted that we have limited emergency response capacity. She also underlined the economic toll of accidents on the health sector. Accidents reduce GDP by 0.42%. Not that we care about GDP, we care about life. But within a context of economic crisis, the penalty point system promises much relief. Globally, across multiple countries, the penalty point system has proven its effectiveness in dramatically reducing the number of accidents once it is implemented. Scientific evidence shows that the point-based license reduces road traffic offences by almost 80% in some cases. This bill exemplifies how a scourge can be tackled with informed and knowledgeable decision-making. This bill, Madam Speaker, as most bills introduced by the Honourable Attorney General, is about ensuring social justice within the legal system. The penalty point system guarantees that all perpetrators are equally penalised.
Madam Tanu,
Yes.
it was introduced by the Honourable Minister Osman, of course with the help of the Attorney General's office.
Yes, of course.
It's the same as the bills that I have introduced, that's what she meant.
Yeah.
That's the English.
I'm sure she didn't.
Well done.
Thank you.
Attorney General always works on all bills anyway, yeah. But
Thank
after the Minister has worked on it.
Sure. So thank you, Honourable
Yeah, sorry,
Minister.
I stopped you.
That's all right. I stand to be corrected at any point in time.
Good.
Okay. The penalty point system guarantees that all perpetrators are equally penalised for driving offences committed. For the wealthy, fines are too easily dealt with. They are not deterrents to poor road practices. The penalty point system, in contrast, is fair and just. The system aims to sanction all drivers equally, regardless of their economic or social status. It will entail behavioural changes and the reduction of risky behaviours across all social classes. The penalty point system is also crucial for us bus users. We are often treated as second-class citizens. Our comfort needs are barely taken care of. Anybody who has taken a bus from Plaine-Magnan to Port-Louis at peak hours, or from Rosil to Rivière-du-Rempart, knows that our buses can transform into dangerous roller coasters. The thrill is real. The danger is even more real. You can get a ride for as cheap as 35 rupees, and there are no seat belts. If you stand, be prepared to do gymnastics. With the penalty point system, we may aspire to more road safety for bus users. Together with the fleet management system, the penalty system will protect us. The fleet management system is therefore a matter of urgency. Madam Speaker, for our roads to be safe, we need to emphasize the importance of driver education, which this bill briefly refers to in terms of driver rehabilitation. Driver re-education may sensitize drivers so they understand the damaging impacts of their risky behaviors. Research accomplished by the University of Madrid emphasizes that the number of drivers who offend again after losing their license is very, very low. 1,850 out of 850,000 drivers. Thus, a strong driver re-education program that teaches about accident-related trauma and its transgenerational impacts is necessary. Moreover, as former speakers have noted, for the point-based license system to be fully effective, we will require functional surveillance systems and improved road infrastructure. Most importantly, we need to rethink our social and economic model that currently heightens the incidence of dangerous driving. Neoliberalism kills, it destroys life. It makes us senseless consumers, tired workers, angry humans, and mad drivers. It wants more roads, more cars, more buildings, more shopping malls, senseless privatization, endless hours of work for the poor, and endless wealth accumulation for the murderous capitalist elites. In contrast, eco-feminist socialism sustains life,